Perfect. Okay. So, so yes, we were talking about format string, right? We'll take one more example of format string. Let's say I declare player, let's say. I say player equal to, let's say, Rohit. And let's say um, mm, country, let's say I put India. Player country, let's say position is captain. Okay. So if I say print F, okay. So I'll say the player, okay, player Rohit play plays for the country, plays for the country. The player plays for the country and is, let's say, position of the is plays for the country and is of the team. Okay. So if I print it this way, oops, I need to run P2. It's run different file. So the player Rohit plays for country India and is captain of the team. Okay. Now I do the same stuff, okay, for different players. And let's say this time I give some different name. Uh, and what or something. Okay, and then here I'll go and I say Zimbabwe. Okay, and let's say I put wicket keeper. So now when we run this, so if you see here, okay, now um, this is the, I mean, this has a shorter name, obviously, right? So the player is exactly below each other, correct? But this name, since because this name is bigger, so it has taken more space. So plays, is not below exactly each other, right? Obviously, because this has shorter text, so plays is on towards the left. But let's say you want to print everything exactly below each other, right? So in that case, we use what is called as padding. Okay. So padding is when you give fixed number of spaces. So let's say for Rohit, I mean for name, for example, let's say for player, I give 15 characters as fixed. Okay. So if I give 15 characters as fixed place, then it will reserve 15 places for player and the plays will start from 16th, 17th position, right? So if your name is 5, so it'll 5 characters, it'll take 5 characters and rest 10 characters will be blank, isn't it? So such cases we use padding, and for padding too we use colon. So we discussed that, right? In format string you can have a colon, and on the left side you can have the variable, and on the right side you can define the formatting, right? So I'm defining formatting here and I say 15. So 15 becomes the padding. So I'm assigning 15 spaces for this player. Okay. And so, okay, so you have 15 spaces and you're trying to fit 5 character there. So you have 3 options. You can do it left aligned, right aligned, or center aligned. Okay. So I think same concept applies in char thing, right? When you define something as character, right? Varchar is different, the character is different, right? So when you define character, you kind of fix the place, number of spaces, isn't it? So here too, I want to fix 15 spaces here. And I want to say that, okay, if I say less than, then I'm saying, okay, you have 15 spaces. And in the 15 spaces, I want player value to be left aligned. Okay. So you say less than 15. And same thing, I'll put it here. Now for country 2, I'll put 15. Okay. But country, I'll put centrally aligned, center aligned. So center aligned, we will put this the shift 6 key, the upward arrow, okay, caret we call it, right? So this arrow you keep. So this is like centrally aligned. This is centrally aligned. And this is your right aligned. Okay, so this is your greater than. So greater than is for right aligned. And now when you run it here, so see, so 15 spaces has been fixed. And since we said less than, okay, so text got towards left side and rest of the spaces are blank here. So place for the country exactly got down, below each other. And then India and Zimbabwe, we said centrally aligned, right? So let's say if India is 5 character, we say 15. So 5 spaces is blank on the left and on the right. Okay, if it has been odd number of characters, less will be on the left side, more is on the right side. And Zimbabwe also got centrally aligned. And now if we talk about the captain here, it got right aligned because we said greater than, so it got right aligned. So another way of showing you how to do formatting, another way of formatting.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
great. So this is what I want to show you in terms of printing. Of course, as we go along, we'll see different other versions of print. So now we'll get down to the different operations that we can perform on the text. Not on the text, sorry, except text. On the numbers basically and on the Boolean values. We'll have a separate discussion on string. Okay, we'll have probably it can take 1 hour or more. We'll talk about especially on the string separately. So coming back to the data types that we were discussing yesterday. So let's say I define a number num1 equal to 50 and I define num2 equal to 60, right? Now when I say print num1 plus num2, okay, obviously you get 50 plus 60, 110, right? And so this is your mathematical operator. We call them as arithmetic operations. Arithmetic operations. So you have num1 plus num2, num1 minus num2, num1 into num2. Okay, num1 divided by num2, right? So, okay, so you have plus, minus, into division, which is very clear, right? Now what I'll do, I'll just delete 0, okay? We'll see with smaller number. Apart from that, there are few more operations, okay? So this is called double integer or double division. Integer division or your double division. Okay, integer division. So you have double division. Okay, double slash basically. It's for integer division. You get the integer part only. No, so output is going to be integer value, not a float value. Okay, this is going to be a float output. This has to be float output, isn't it? Then this is your integer. The output double integer will be double integer, right? So it is always integer output. So that's the difference between single and double. Apart from that, you also have something called as percentage. So in percentage, we get remainder. So when you know what remainder is, right? When you divide a number, uh, let me show you maybe. You remember what remainder is, right? In your
Yes.
elementary
Yes.
school?
Yes.
Yeah, then it's fine. So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
if I divide n1 by n2, right? Then what will the remainder? Remainder will be 5, right? Because 6 will go 0 times, right? 5 is smaller than 6. So it will be 6 will be 0 time, right? So this line number 50, see, line number 49 gave us 0.8333. 50 will give us 0 only, integer part. Not even 0.0, 0. Anything less than anything less than value, right? Let's say even if you have 5.999, you will get 5 only. You will not get 6. Okay.
Mm.
Until unless it is not 6, you will not get 6. Right? So so you have this value, and when you divide it, okay, by 0 times, what is left? So that's why this in double integer, the integer division, double division, and modulo. Okay, it's called sign is called modulo. We write percentage. It's called modulo. I think we have it in SQL also, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, exactly. Yes, same purpose. Okay, so this gives us remainder. So you have this, and then you have double star. Double star is like power. So it's like
Mm.
saying num1 to the power num2. So it becomes 5 to the power 6. So 5
Mhm.
into 5 into 5, that is 125, 125 into 125, right? So, I mean, to test, we can say 5, 3, and it's going to be 125, right? So you get
Mhm.
125. And here it is 1.66. So double integer is going to be 1, and your modulo is going to be 2. And here you have um, double integer, double star for power. Okay, so this is called as arithmetic operations. Okay, now for arithmetic operations, okay, I have one assignment problem to do, which I want to give you immediately, or maybe I can post it on that link, maybe better.
Yeah.
There's one assignment problem which I want you to practice and solve it. Okay, so you can try it. I'll just mention here post post office stamp um, problem for assignment. Okay, so right, we can do a couple of examples here. Let's say if you want to find um, area and perimeter of a rectangle, let's say, right? So you will say length GTH, length equal to, let's say, 34, and breadth equal to, let's say, 56, right? Area equal to uh, length into breadth, uh, perimeter equal to 2 times, right? Length plus breadth, right? So you add length and breadth or multiply. So it's basically length plus breadth plus breadth, right? So this is the formula. So here you have to define variable, assign a value, and then you have calculations called processing, right? You're processing some value based on the input, and then you finally display the output, right? So I can display it like print, okay, I'll say a rectangle with length so the rectangle with length and breadth breadth the rectangle with rectangle length and breadth has an area and perimeter of perimeter. Okay, so let me pull this down. Now when we run it, let's see, hopefully it has everything is correct. Yeah, so rectangle with length 34 and breadth 56 has an area of 1904 and perimeter of 180, right? So this is a simple program, right? We'll slowly increase our complexity. Now let's say so this is how you write a simple program, right? Now let's say I want this to be interactive. In the sense, I want the user to give this value, right? I want the user to give this value for us. So instead of giving direct value, because see, if you give 34, it will be fixed 34, right? You won't be able to, I mean, every time I run it, it will be 34 only, right? But let's say I want to change it. Okay, first maybe as user wants, for first problem you might have different length. For second problem you will have different length, right? So That's what we call it as making it interactive. Okay, so it changes based on the input value that we provide, right? So to make it more interactive, where users can give the value at runtime, we use input. Okay, so input is another function which will read the value from the user. Now, if you see here in this case, last time when we ran it, it says process finished with exit code 0. Means process finished means program has ended, and exit code 0 indicates that your program has run successful. So there is no problem, while running the program. And if program had any error or something, we would have seen -1 or +1. Okay, -1 or +1 would indicate that the problem has, program has not run as per expectation, right? Something has gone wrong there. So then you can go and see, where things have gone wrong. But here 0, so we are happy that okay, program has run comfortably and there's no problem here. So we can, we don't have to go back and look at the program. So okay, so now if I make this as input here, and I'll make this also as input. Now when you run it, so see, so the program is waiting for us to give value. That's what input is. Input is used to provide value to the program. So when I say input here, it is like I'm asking, okay, wait for the input from the user. So it is actually waiting for the input, right? So let's say I give input as 5. Now it is waiting for input for the breadth. So I'll give 5 here. Now what happened? You see exit code 1. That means there's something wrong here. We have to go and see what went wrong. Type error. Okay, this is called type error. So this will give you will give you the description of the error. What kind of error could have occurred? So type error is specially to do with your data type. Okay, so somewhere it was expect different data type and encounter different data type. So you get this type error. So when you say type error, that means okay, it is something to do with the type of the data. What happens is, so it says cannot multiply. Cannot multiply string. What happens when we say input? We give input, which is fine, obviously, but how will Python know that we want to input a string or an integer or a float or a boolean? There's no way Python can know, right? Okay, so because input here 55 if I give, right, or 5 I give in this case, so 5 can mean anything, isn't it? It can mean a string also, isn't it? It did not always be integer. So what it says is, okay, to kind of address those problems, it says, okay, by default, input will always read as a string. Input will always read as string. So you get the input as a string, and now based on whatever data type you want to convert into, you can convert. Okay. So far till here, this is all what you call as implicit conversion is happening. So when I say num1 is integer, num2 is integer, but when I divide num1 by num2, we get output as float, right? So it is implicitly converting into float. Implicit conversion is happening. Here too, the length is becoming string. So if you can print and show you, I can say print type of length. So now when we run it again, and for here I enter 44, it says class integer, right? So by default, it is designed such a way that because see, everything can be read as integer. You can read number also as integer, boolean also as integer, but you can't read in every, integer. You can't read string as an integer. So string is like a ocean where everything can get, it can absorb everything, isn't it? But we cannot say the same thing about integer where you can't add a string to an integer. So that's why by default it takes string. And if we need, in this case, of course, we need it. If we need to convert into integer, we have to explicit conversion we have to perform. Implicit means we are forcing it to get converted into integer. So one option here is you perform length equal to int of length, right? Or we can even do directly here, int of input. Directly we can do. Okay. So what happens now? Since we're converting into integer, of course, if you give some text, obviously you want to get converted, we get error. But even now, if you give a valid integer, it will convert into valid number. Okay. So this is the extra step we'll have to perform when you're doing input. And second thing which I want to say is, like, when we ran it, right, it was waiting, right? And we have written the program, so we know that, okay, first value that we have to provide is input, is length. Second value that we have to provide to input is breadth. But if somebody else is running the program, they may not know what to enter, right? So we can give a prompt, we call it, or a message. So input can accept no argument, no parameter, or at max only one parameter. Unlike print can accept any number of parameter, isn't it? Input cannot. Input will accept either 0, no parameter, or one parameter, max one. So I can give a text message here saying enter length of the rectangle. Okay. And similarly, I can go and copy the same text and put it here, breadth here, right? Enter breadth of the rectangle. Okay, not semicolon. I wanted to put colon here, so let me put colon. And we'll stop it and run it again. Okay, enter length of the rectangle. I say 23. See, now it is showing us integer because we have converted into integer. Now, if I enter some text, ER, obviously you can't convert ER into integer, right? So value error, okay? You can't convert, you get error. So we'll see error handling when we do. We'll talk about how to handle the errors later. Now let's run it again. So I'm going to say rectangle length as 23 and breadth as, let's say, 12. So you get rectangle length 23, 12 is 276 and perimeter is 70. Right? So when you are using input, and if your intention is to read as a string value itself, then there's nothing we need to do. But if your intention is to convert into integer or boolean or float, okay, or complex, then you have to convert into those things using, and the function that converts is the same function that we saw yesterday, the class name. So class name itself is the function name also. So class name for str, it is str. Let's say now we have got integer and I want to convert this integer to string. I'll say str of, okay, str of, int of, float of, bool of, complex of, will convert whatever input value that you have into other data type.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, so with this we kind of complete our arithmetic discussion. Now we'll go to second operations that we have. We call it as comparison operator. So generally what I tell to beginners is that first 6-8 classes are only important. This is where you need to kind of learn to develop the logic. I mean, of course, SQL, so you know how to develop logic. You just have to switch your mindset for Python. But especially those who are coming for the first time from non-programming background, they haven't done programming before. So I tell them that first 6-8 classes is important because all the raw logic we discuss here itself, right? After that, it is like knowing how to use it, right? For example, SQL also, right? SQL also just to know what how to write column names and where is important. After that, it's just about to use different functions, when to use distinct, when to use min, when to use max, count, right? So it's all about your learning new vocabulary. Like if you compare it to learning a language, first few days is where you spend time on learning grammar and tenses. Once you know grammar and tenses, it's higher classes. What do we do in language? We only learn vocabulary, isn't it? The grammar thing is done in the basic classes itself. right? So yeah, same thing. So now we're learning about comparison operators. So comparison operators are used to compare the value. Okay, very similar to SQL. So you have less than, greater than, you have less than equal to. Okay, so compare either less or equal to, right? Similarly, you have greater than or equal to. You have double equal to. Okay, so here there's a difference between equal to and double equal to. What we've been doing so far is single equal to, meaning assign the value to left hand side. So whatever you have on the right hand side, that value need to be assigned to the left hand side. Whatever you have on the left side, that should be assigned to, sorry, whatever you have on the right side needs to be assigned to the left side variable, right? So right side is your value, left side is a variable, and you are assigning to left side. Just like any mathematical operations that we say. We say x equal to 5. So 5 is a variable value, and we are putting that into x, right? Double equal to is like asking a question. Okay, is it equal to? Is it equal to? And similarly, you have not equal to. So this is like asking question, is it not equal to? Okay. So the input here is your variables. Okay, or whatever, right? So input can be anything, but output is always Boolean value, right? So let's say again, I'll define val1, let's say equal to 34, and I'll say val2 equal to 34, let's say. I'm putting both val1 and val2 as 34. So now if I have to check, okay, is val1 less than val2, right? If I have to check, is val1 less than val2? So how will I do? I will say print, let me write this here. Is val1 less than val2? And it's a question mark, correct? So we say here val1 less than val2. Okay, so this space is not important. I'm just giving it for clarity purpose. It doesn't, if you don't give also, it's okay with Python. Same thing goes here as well, right? Here also space is not mandatory.
Mhm.
Okay, so now you tell me, is val1 less than val2? Is 34 less than 34?
No.
No. So it has to be false, right? So yes. So okay. So we have to address those every time. So what I'll do is, let me open a new file here. And I'm going to delete all this because this is I've already uploaded, and I will move just to save some time. We don't have to
Mhm.
enter the values for length and breadth again and again. Okay. So now when we run it, so it is false, obviously, right? Now if I say, okay, we'll go by this order. So is val1 greater than val2? Is val1 greater than val2? Okay, and you run it. Okay, obviously 34 is not greater than 34, isn't it?
So the Python is understanding our question and giving the answer.
No, 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 no. Python is not chat. What do you call? This is that's the news, right? So no, it's not that. So this is the one. This is what is
Okay.
the output. Okay,
Okay.
this is just for our purpose. I've written. This is in quotation.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Python is understanding this one.
Okay.
So val1 less than val2. Val1 greater than val2. Okay, so this says no, it is false. So, okay, so similarly, val1, okay, is val1 less than or equal to. So how do you write? Less than or equal to. So less than or equal to. Right? So is val1 less than or equal to val2?
Yes.
Yes, right? So either equal to or less than. That's what it means. Now I'm going to, is val1 greater than or equal to val2? So you will say greater than equal to val2. Okay. Is val1 equal to? Okay. So equal to. Okay. So this is like checking, is val1 equal to val2? Obviously answer is yes here. Okay. So this is true, this is true, this will be true. And not equal to is val1 not equal to. Not equal to val2. So not equal to. And when you run it, so you see, so they're equal. They're not equal. They're not equal. They're equal, right? So you get false. So these are the comparison operator. This is so we don't generally use this independently, okay? But along with multiple conditions, when you have to write condition or things like that, we will use. So this is very, very useful. Yeah, correct. So shall we move ahead?
Yes.
Okay. So next we call it as logical operator. So logical operators we have and or not, and it's the same concept we use in SQL condition, right? Where we say where and or
Mhm.
not. So same, exactly same thing. So I don't have to explain it to you, but we'll just see one example. Okay. So let's say, so here one thing, input is boolean and output is also boolean, right? So let's say um, I'll say print. I'm going to use, let me copy this thing and paste it here. And I'm going to say R. Then I go and add here. I add R. Right? And add. So you have val1 less than val2 and val1. Okay. Okay. Now what will be the output for this? Okay. So I'm going to copy and we'll try to solve it here. So you know that, right? When you have and or, and will take first preference than or, right? And takes higher preference than or, correct? So here, okay, we need to solve it. So first we'll solve the comparison operator. So val1 less than val2 is false, right?
Mhm.
Val1 greater than val2 is false. Val1 less than equal to val2 is true. Val1 greater than val2 is also true. Val1 equal to val2 is also true. Val1 not equal to val2 is false, right?
Mhm.
So now if we have evaluated the comparison operator. Now we have and or. So what we discussed was when you have and you can roughly equate to multiplication, right? And or to addition. So when you have and here, so F and F, false and false, will be false,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then true and true will be true only, right?
Mm-hmm.
True and true,
True.
true. And then false or true, true, correct? And true or false is true. So ultimately this print will give us true, right? So what we see is, okay, in false, sorry, in and even if you have one, if you have one false, okay, output is going to be false, right? Otherwise true, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So for it to be true, everything has to be true. True and
Mm-hmm.
true and true and true and true and true and true and true is going to be true. Well, then you'll get true. Even one is false, entire thing will become false, correct? And
Yes.
in OR we have this, right? In OR, even if you have one true, it is going to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
even if you have one true, output will be true. Otherwise, it's false, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yes. So this is called logical operators. Now using logical operator, there's a membership operator also. So membership is like just checking if, okay, not, right? So not true is false, not false is true. So not val1 equal to val2. Val1 equal to val2 is true, not true is false. So this will give us false, right? So not takes only one value and not will have the operation on the right side of it. Okay. And an OR is like plus minus. You have one operation on the left, one on the right. But not will always have on the right hand side. Not. Same thing in SQL also we have, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, and then you have membership uh, operators. Membership operator is again you have in SQL also. In membership operator. So you have in, not in. So if I say 5 print 5 in, and I have to define a list here. 5, I'm going to tell you later what list is. Just it's assumed to like a collection of values. So 5 in this list is true. 5 is
True.
present, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing you can do with string also. So if I say a not in, okay, a b c d e. Now, so a not in. So a is not in. So this is anyway not in. So this will be true or false.
Is it case sensitive?
Yes. So Python is also case sensitive, and text is obviously case sensitive. So in SQL you have text case sensitive, but commands are not. Here commands are also case sensitive, and text is also case sensitive. Yes.
Okay. So it's not in true.
Right. So it has to be true. It's not in. So it has to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is called membership operator. We'll see anyway later. Okay. We'll talk about it because this will help us to build few things later. We'll talk about loops and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. So, yes, so these are different operators that we use. Now, these operators generally we use in context with something else, right? So this will help us to build, larger programs. So I'll just end with one example we'll do and we'll end. So that tomorrow, so tomorrow you want to connect?
Not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow,
Maybe
right?
after tomorrow. Yeah.
Sure, sure. In fact, so um, so let's say I want to add three numbers, right? So I can say marks 1 equal to int of input, right? And I can say prompt enter the marks in subject 1, right? And okay, so you have marks 1, and I just done 3, but you can obviously do it for any number of subjects, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you have total equal to marks 1 plus marks 2 plus marks 3, right? And average you calculate by total by 3, and you'll say print total marks obtained is, I'm going to say total, okay, and I have not put F here. So put F and then say, and the average is, I'm going to say AVG, and I'm going to define 0.2F, right? That means I want at max 2 floating point. Okay. Now when you run it, obviously we have to enter mark subject 1. I say 55, 56, 57. So average is 168 and average is 56. Now, so if you run it 3, again, we'll say 57, 57, 57. So this time is 57, right? So, so this is one program, and we'll try to build the same program using different concept that we learn. So, as I said, we'll stop here for today. Tomorrow, we'll see how to perform conditionals. Okay. So, let's say, based on average, we want to assign grade, right? Now, grade, let's say you have from E to F. So, you have to print E to F, but for different values, it should print different grades, right? So, program should have print A grade, print B grade, C grade, everything. But based on the average, you're going to choose one of the given text. So that's what we'll see tomorrow. Very similar to what you have decode, right? If I'm not wrong, decode, or you have case in SQL.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I think more than decode is case. Decode works on null values, right? Mostly, right? Case is what you have those conditions. So we'll do that tomorrow. Or tomorrow in the sense Monday when we meet.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to upload both the video and the content at the same link which I had shared yesterday. So maybe in 1 hour or so, you'll have both of these things uploaded there.
Okay. And
Okay.
also the assignment, right?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.